Another part of the topic is the juridical persons, or what we call as the corporations and the partnership. Pati po yan, meron pong implications yan sa income taxation. Lahat po ng kumikita ng income kailangan magbayad ng income tax. Okay. First impose on the privilege of a person to earn income. Okay? Lagi po nating tatandaan, income tax is imposed to the privilege of earning income. Bakit privilege yung ginagamit dito ng NIRC? Is because working is not a right. Hindi po karapatan ang pagtatrabaho. Ito po ay isang privilege. Okay, what is privilege? Ano bang pinagkaiba ng rights sa privilege? Ang rights po, pagkapanganak nyo pa lang po, inherent na yan sa inyo. Hindi na pwedeng tanggalin sa inyo yan. Ang privilege po, anytime po, pwede pong matanggal sa inyo. Okay? Pwede kayong matanggal sa trabaho, pwedeng magsarado yung negosyo nyo, pwedeng mas subject to closing ang inyong corporation. So, privilege of earning income ang pinag-uusapan nito. Okay? And later on, mas mapag-uusapan natin yung mga sources naman. So, according dito, income tax is earning income whether as an employee sa pagtatrabaho, ang tinatawag natin na salary, from the practice of profession. Sino ba yung mga nagpa-practice ng profession? These are people who has license to practice. Doctors, lawyer, engineers, kayo mismo, mga future accountants, that is what we call the practice of profession. Okay? And another thing is engaging in trade or business. Okay? Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, trade or business. Business, negosyo. Okay? Ano ang pinaka-example ng negosyo? Nilagyan mo ng kapital, kumita yung kapital mo. Trade is yung skills mo, yung daily skills mo, your skills that you have honed for a lot of period of time, for almost 10 years of experience. And that is what we call trade. Kung karpintero ka man, kung painter ka man, kung ano man yan, that is trade. Okay? And all passive incomes, capital gains, and other income from whatever source derived in one taxable year. Okay? Pero lang po sa source ng illegal, ha? Hindi po natin yan kailangan ilagay sa income tax. Okay? Kasi unang-una, yung pag-earn ng income na yun is illegal in a way. And syempre naman, mahuhuli kayo. Okay? So, what is the nature of income tax? No? Income tax is a tax levied upon the privilege. Levied means legislated. Yun lagi natin tatandaan kapag naita natin yung word na levied. Okay? And excise tax po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. Bakit ba excise tax? Excise tax? Because excise tax is yung sobra lang po. Hindi naman po lahat ang kukunin sa inyo. Okay? Next, what is the basic features of taxation? We have the direct tax, progressive in nature, comprehensive tax situs, and semi-schedular and semi-global. It is direct tax because you are directed. Ikaw po mismo ang nagbabayad. Hindi po pwedeng ikaw yung kumita ng pera, is ibang tao ang magbabayad para sa inyo. It is a direct tax because it is imposed or implicated directly to you. Okay? It is progressive in nature. Why? Kasi po, tumataas po ng tumataas ang ating kita. Okay? Kaya nga po, tawag natin sa ating income tax table is graduated income tax rate. Okay? Next, comprehensive tax situs because it adopts the citizenship principle and the residence principle. Mamaya matututunan natin sino ba yung iba't ibang klase ng taxpayers. Okay? So para alam din natin kung saan ba yung source na nanggagaling yung kita nila. Para ma-respect natin yung tinatawag natin na territoriality principle. Okay? Semi-schedular or semi-global, it's what? Adopts both semi-schedular and semi-global system of income taxation. Okay? So ito nga yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kanina yung citizenship principle, residence principle, source principle. Hindi na ako magtatagal dyan kasi later on i-discuss din naman natin yan. Okay. These are all the types of Philippine income taxes. No? According or directly to the person or who is the person liable, we have the individual income tax and the corporate income tax. Next, as to the tax base, tayong net taxable income and gross income. Dalawa lang po klase yan ha, gross income lang po at saka taxable income lang po lagi. Okay? Sa nature naman, we have the passive income and the active income. Passive income, this kind of incomes are wala kang ginagawa pero kumikita ka ng pera. Active income is you're doing all your efforts, no, to earn income. Sa sources naman natin ng income, we have the compensation income. Compensation incomes, ito yung mga salary natin for our employment. Okay? Next, purely self-employed or professional income tax. Mamaya, di-discuss din natin yan. Mixed income tax earners, ito yung pinaka-uso ngayon. This is what we call as the freelancers. Okay? Passive income tax, dividend tax, capital gains tax, and fringe benefit tax. Okay? Next, we have tax payable naman by individuals. We have the graduated income tax. Ito yung table na sinusunod po natin ng ating gross income yearly. Okay? Ang ating kinikita yearly. Meron naman tayong minimum wage earners income tax, but because of the train law, minimum wage earners nowadays does not need to pay tax. Pero mamaya, merong exception yan kung kailan sila pwede magbayad ng tax. Okay? And yung pinakabagong option out ngayon, the 8% flat income tax rate na para sa ating mga freelance earners, sa ating mga mixed income earners, professional income tax earners, etc. etc. Next, the mixed income earners or our freelance, passive income tax, dividend tax, and capital gains and fringe. Okay? So dito naman sa ating income tax by corporation, meron po tayong tinatawag na regular corporate income tax or what we subject this before 30%, now 35%. Bakit nagmamatter pa rin po yung 30%? Kasi depende pa rin po sa year yan. Okay? Minimum corporate income tax, ito yung MCIT na tinatawag natin, which is after the pandemic, after 2023, bumalik na po tayo sa 2% ngayon, na which is dati 1%. Okay? Income tax holiday, ito yung incentive na binibigay natin sa ating mga korporasyon. This is the new way of our government right now to encourage investors here in the Philippines. Okay? The special corporate income tax, it depends on what industry are you from. The passive income tax, intercorporate dividend tax, okay, a corporation investing into another corporation, okay, capital gains, international carriers tax, this is an special incentive tax. Ito yung tinatawag natin na special incentive tax or SIT. Okay, ito mga international carriers tax na to. Branch profit remittance tax for our HOQs, and our multinational companies. This is it. Okay, and the type of withholding tax, the final withholding, and the creditable withholding tax. Okay? So, okay, let's go on to our general principles, and this is a pasilip natin, no? Pasilip natin to sa ating mga kind of tax payers. Why is it important to identify what kind of taxpayer is the one paying the tax? Okay, unang-una po kasi, kaya kailangan natin i-identify kung sino yung nagbabayad kasi kailangan din po natin i-identify kung saan nanggagaling ang kanilang source ng income. Okay? Kapag resident citizen, ito yung mga taong residente na ng Pilipinas, citizen pa ng Pilipinas. Mga Pilipino, kumbaga. Okay? Taxable on all income derived from source within and without the Philippines. Okay? Pag kumita within sa Pilipinas, taxable sa Pilipinas. Pag kumita sa labas ng Pilipinas, taxable sa Pilipinas. That is if you are a resident citizen. Okay? We have the next one, the non-resident citizen. There are only one. Taxable only income derived from sources within the Philippines. Okay? Pag kumita sila ng pera within dito sa Pilipinas, they are what? Taxable here in the Philippines. Sino ba yung mga example ng non-resident citizen? Ang pinaka-great example ng non-resident citizens are immigrants. Okay? Yung mga kababayan natin na nagpunta ng ibang bansa para manirahan doon for better venture in their lives, ito po yung mga non-resident citizen. Doon sila nakatira sa ibang bansa pero citizen pa rin sila ng Pilipinas. Do not confuse non-resident citizen from OFW. Okay? The OFW, Filipino citizen working abroad as an overseas contract worker, Seaman is a Filipino citizen who is a member of the complement of a vessel engaged exclusively in international trade. Okay, they are what? Subjected to income within from the Philippines. Ano ang pinagkaiba ng non-resident citizen sa OFW? Okay, the non-resident citizen, okay, nagpunta ng ibang bansa for the purpose of residing there and then naghanap ng trabaho doon. They are hired directly from that country. They are non-resident citizen. Next, we have the OFW. Paano naman natin masasubject kung anong klaseng non-resident citizen ng OFW or anong klaseng taxpayer? Ang OFW po, they are being hired by the POEA. Okay? Ang ibang bansa, for example, Middle East, Europe, Japan, Korea, or kahit anong bansa man yan, nag-send ng job order dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Sabi ng Korean, siguro Korea, okay, nangangailangan kami ng mga factory workers dito, baka pwede kami mag-hire sa Pilipinas. So ang gagawin niyan, magsisend sila ng job order sa POEA. Ang POEA maghahanap ngayon ng mga taong gusto mag-apply. So they are what? Contract workers. Okay, ang OFW po, ang isa pong benefit ng ating mga OFW, they doesn't need to pay their taxes on their incomes. Pero ang exception po dyan is kapag yung taxable income nila na yun ay kinita nila from the sources within the Philippines. Paano mangyayari yun, sir? Sa ibang bansa nga sila nagtatrabaho. Okay? May negosyo sila sa Pilipinas, meron silang investment sa Pilipinas, or kung ano man ang pinagkakitaan nila sa Pilipinas. Subjected po yun sa tax dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Next, we have the alien individuals. Meron po tayong dalawang klase ng alien individuals. The resident alien and the non-resident alien. These are foreign citizens. Okay, foreigners. No? Resident individuals are what? Resident alien, these are people that have decided to live here in the Philippines but not a citizen of the Philippines. Okay? Non-resident alien naman is they don't have any intention to live here in the Philippines. It just happened that they need to work here siguro for a project or for a contract. They need to work here. Okay? And both are what? If their income are derived from within the Philippines, it is subjected to the tax of the Philippines. Okay? And then we have the two kinds of corporations. The domestic corporation and the foreign corporation. The domestic corporation, they are what? Taxable from within and without na derive nila na income sa Pilipinas. Okay? Foreign corporation naman is income derived from sources within the Philippines naman. Okay? So lagi nating tatandaan to, napakahalaga nito guys ha? Kasi kapag hindi mo kayang i-identify kung anong klaseng taxpayer, magkakamali sa pag-compute ng kanilang tax. Okay? So kung meron mang isang bagay na kailangan sa ulo mo, bukod sa pangalan ng jowa mo, at kang inyong mansari at inyong anniversary, ito po yun. Okay, as an accounting student. The kind of taxpayers. Okay? The resident citizen, non-resident citizen, the OFW, the alien individuals or the resident alien, the non-resident alien, the domestic corporations, and foreign corporations. Napakahalaga po nito na makabisado ninyo. Okay? Dito na tayo sa kind of taxpayers. I will skip some of the PowerPoints because it is much more on the law side. No? Didiscuss ko lang sa inyo yung pinakamahalaga talaga within sa taxi. Okay? So first, we have the resident citizen. Paano ba ina-identify ng NIRC or ng National Internal Revenue Code ang resident citizen? Okay, they are the citizen of the Philippines residing therein unless he disqualify as non-resident citizen. Okay, napakasimple lang. Resident citizen, pag nakita niyo yung resident, tapos citizen, alam niyo na agad, residente ng Pilipinas, citizen pa ng Pilipinas. Okay? Next, we have the non-resident citizen. Citizen of the Philippines who is physically present abroad, either for employment or for resident purposes. One, a citizen of the Philippines who established to the satisfaction of the Commissioner of Internal Revenue the fact of his physical presence abroad with a definite intention to reside therein. Okay? Take note of these words. Okay? Establish the satisfaction. Definite intention. Ito ang lagi natin tatandaan dito. definite intention, and what? Establish action is that may ginawa si resident citizen na yon para ma-establish yung satisfaction ni Commissioner of Internal Revenue na gusto niya na mag-reside sa ibang bansa. Ano yung ginawa niya na yon? Yung definite intention na yon, nag-apply for a visa into another country for resident purposes. Na-hire ng ibang bansa, nag-file sa embassy ng bansa na yon, sinabi kay CIR na, Commissioner, hindi na po ako dito kikita ng pera kasi mag-a-abroad na ako. Dapat may definite intention. Okay? Hindi po pwedeng what? Hindi po pwedeng floating intention ang mangyari. Kailangan po definite. Kailangan dinidefine, kailangan may ginawa si resident para sabihin sa BIR na hindi na ako dito titira. Okay? Next, a citizens of the Philippines who lives the Philippines during the taxable year to reside abroad, either as an immigrant or for employment on a permanent basis. Okay, na-hire nga sa ibang bansa, so decided to what? Live there. Okay? So, a citizen of the Philippines who works and derives income from abroad and whose employment requires him to physically present abroad most of the time. Siyempre naman, hindi ka naman pwede magtrabaho sa abroad nang hindi ka physically present abroad. No? Alam, mag-uwian ka ng Pilipinas, Canada, araw-araw para lang. Ayoko maging non-resident citizen. Gusto ko resident citizen lang ako. Pero hired ka sa Canada, mag-uwian ka araw-araw. Hindi naman po pwede. Okay? So that's the citizen. Okay? Next, we have the resident alien. Okay? An individual whose residence is within the Philippines and who is not a citizen thereof. Okay? Yung intentions nila dito determined by the intention with regards to the length and nature of the stay. Unang-una, yung length na pinag-uusapan natin, gaano na ba siya katagal dito sa Pilipinas? Ang rules po natin lagi sa ating mga resident alien is at least 1 year of the fiscal year. Okay? Kapag lumagpas siya ng 1 year, it is clear to the mind of the CIR that he or she has the intention to stay here in the Philippines. Pero meron po dapat determined by his intention. Okay? Hindi pwedeng magbase lang si BIR sa length. Hindi pwedeng sabihin lang ni BIR, okay, 1 year na to, automatic resident alien na to. No. Okay, depende pa rin po yun sa gusto ni foreigner. Kapag sinabi ni foreigner, no, I just need to stay here for 1 year because I have a project that needs to be finished on 1.5 years. So I don't have any plans on residing here. Hindi pa rin po siya resident alien. Kailangan po clear ang intentions. Nature of his stay. What is the nature of his stay? Is it really to reside here? Okay? Ang pinaka-great example of this nature and nature po, ang pinaka-intention dito, yung definite intention, is ang pagpapakasal sa isang Pilipina. Okay? Automatically, if a resident alien marries a Filipina and decided to reside here, automatic po, resident alien siya. Okay? Why? Because you cannot live away from your spouse. No? So, ang ina-assume dito ng BIR is that, what? He has the intention or she has the intention to stay here in the Philippines. Yan lagi nating titignan. Okay? The length and the nature of his stay, but it should be determined by his intention. Okay? Next, we have the non-resident alien. And take note of this. No? Napakahalaga na ito. Okay, non-resident aliens are an individual whose resident is not within the Philippines and who is not a citizen thereof. Okay? Hindi dito nakatira sa Pilipinas, hindi pa siya citizen ng Pilipinas, non-resident alien. Okay? So, we have two kinds of non-resident alien. The engaged in trade or business within the Philippines and the not engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Okay? Ang lagi po natin tatandaan is dalawang days, dalawang number. the 181 days and the 180 days or less. Okay? Pagka nag-stay dito sa Pilipinas, sila non-resident alien engaged in trade or business within the Philippines. And kapag po engaged na siya in trade and business, he or she needs to pay the income derived within the Philippines, a tax income here in the Philippines. Pagka lumagpas ng 181 days. Pero kapag kanyang stay are 180 days and less, he is considered or she is considered is as a non-resident alien not engaged in trade or business. So lahat po ng kikitain niya is not considered as an income derived within the Philippines. Okay? So those are the kinds of non-resident alien. Next, we have the special alien employees. Okay, sino ba itong mga special kind of employees? Alien individuals employed by RHQs or ROHQs of multinational companies. Ang ibig po sabihin yan mga regional headquarters. Okay? Or regional overseas headquarters. Okay, meron pong, ang pinaka-great example po ng mga headquarters dito sa Pilipinas is JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, ADB, ano ba mga companies usually? Insurance, mga insurance companies, no? Those are considered as regional headquarters. Okay? Mga multinational companies po yan. Okay? Those are kind of special alien employees, yung mga employed doon. Okay? Alien individuals employed by OBUs naman, as these are what? Itong mga embassy na nandito sa Pilipinas. US Embassy, Korean Embassy, Japanese Embassy. Meron po yung mga workers sila dyan na nagtatrabaho within their scope na citizen nila. Kapag po employed, yung individual na employed ng RHQs or ng resident ng regional headquarters, all of their income derived here in the Philippines is taxable here in the Philippines. Okay? So they need to pay tax here in the Philippines. Pag naman employed ng mga embassies is what? They are not taxable here in the Philippines. Why? Because embassies are considered as what? As an extension of their country. Pag pumasok ka po ng US Embassy, considered po na nasa US kayo. Territory po nila yun. So, pagsunod natin sa ating territoriality principle, hindi po natin sila pwedeng isubject sa tax ng Pilipinas kasi wala po sila sa Pilipinas na nagtatrabaho. Okay? Alien individuals employed by petroleum service, contractors and subcontractors, ito din po, depende rin sa length of stay. Kung more than 181, income derived within is taxable here in the Philippines. Pag less than 180, there is no income derived here in the Philippines, so they're not taxable here in the Philippines. And lastly is the POGO employees or the offshore gaming licenses and service providers. No? Sila po ay subjected sa ating taxation dito sa Pilipinas. Pero ang kanilang mga korporasyon ay merong special incentives, tax incentives. Okay? Next naman ang ating mga corporations. Ano naman yung ating mga corporations? First, we have the domestic corporations. Sa ating domestic corporation, a domestic corporation is created or organized in the Philippines or under its law. Okay? Dito na buo, regulated ng Pilipinas, regulated ng SEC, ibig sabihin domestic corporation yan. Okay? Ano yung may mga special classes of domestic corporation? We have the proprietary educational institution and non-profit hospitals. Yung mga proprietary po is what? Yung mga private educational institutions. Non-profit hospitals, PGH, yung mga charitable hospitals. GOCCs engage in similar business. Okay, ano ba yung mga GOCCs? Government corporations po. Okay? FCDUs of domestic depository banks. For example nito ay ang intermediaries natin. Offshore gaming licenses. Bakit considered na pwedeng makonsider na domestic to mga offshore gaming licenses at nabibigyan sila ng special classes of domestic corporation? Kasi po dito po sila kumukuha ng lisensya. So regulated sila ng Pilipinas. Okay? Accredited service providers to offshore gaming licenses. Ito naman yung mga IT companies na nagpo-provide ng services or mga BPOs na nagpo-provide ng services sa ating mga offshore gaming licenses or kung ano mang agencies yan. Okay? Next, we have the resident foreign corporations. A resident foreign corporation applies to a foreign corporation organized, authorized, or existing under the law of any foreign country but engage in trade or business within the Philippines after obtaining a license for that purpose and a certificate of authority. Okay? So, resident foreign corporations are corporations organized, authorized, or existing under the law of a foreign country. Doon sila nabuo sa ibang bansa, kung saan sila nanggaling. Doon sila authorized, and they're under the law of that country. Pero they are engaged in trading business here in the Philippines, and they have license to what? To do that trading or business. Okay? At ito naman ang ating mga preferential tax rates. Ano naman yung mga preferential tax rates, no? Ito yung mga klase ng tax na depende sa nature ng industry nila, pinapapili sila kung ilang percentage lang sila masasubject. First, the international carriers. Okay, sino ba itong mga international carriers ito? Japan Airlines, Singapore Airlines, Qatar Airways, yung mga yan. Okay, and also po yung mga barko. Okay, mga barko. Kunwari, MAERX, ano ba yung mga example ng mga yan? Yung mga international shippings, no? These are considered as international carriers. Philippine branch of a foreign corporation, exempt na nakaregister sa PEZA. Okay, ano ba yung mga branch of foreign corporations? Mga ProLife, mga ganyan, AXA. Okay, meron po yan silang mga mother corporation sa ibang bansa, pero meron silang branches dito. Okay. And the same as the RHQs and the multinational companies, they also have preferential tax rates and FCDUs of resident foreign nationalities. And pati yung POGO. Meron sila dito. Okay? Lastly, for the kind of taxpayers, we have the non-resident foreign corporations. Okay? A foreign corporation na or organized, authorized, and existing under the laws of that foreign country but not engaging in trade or business here in the Philippines. Mga example nito, non-resident cinematographic film owner. Example, si Disney, si Fox, si 21st Century, si Warner Brothers, nag-decide na mag-shoot ng movie dito sa Pilipinas. They're considered as a non-resident foreign corporation. Okay. Non-resident owner or lessor of vessels chartered by the Philippine National. For example, isang mayaman na kumpanya dito sa Pilipinas, nag-chartering ng poles sa ibang bansa. Pag nag-deliver po dito yan sa Pilipinas ng kanilang mga product, papunta dun sa Philippine company na yun, hindi po sila engaging in trading business within the Philippines. Okay? Next, non-resident owner of lessor of aircraft. Okay, yung mga FedEx, mga ganyan, they're considered as a non-resident foreign corporations. Okay? Okay. So now we have already discussed the kind of taxpayers. Next, let's discuss our taxable periods and accounting methods. Okay? Okay. If we're talking about the taxable year or the taxable accounting period, it means calendar year or the fiscal year. Pero usually naman guys, ang ginagamit natin fiscal year talaga. No? The 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. Kahit anong month yan, 30 days, 30 days. Kasi yung fiscal year. No? Okay? So, always remember, the accounting period is composed of 12 months. No? Common knowledge na sa atin yan. Okay. The calendar year is used in the calendar year accounting period. January 1 ending on December 31. Okay? Kung 28 days lang ang February, 28 days lang ang February. Kung 31 days ang June, ang January, kung 31 days ang January, 31 days po ang January. Sa fiscal year, hindi po ganun. Okay? ending on the last day of any month other than December. Okay? Last day of the month other than December. So, ang mangyayari, kulang tayo ng araw. Kaya tayo mag-stick sa 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. Okay? Okay, short. Accounting period, tax recon made for a fractional part of the year, or which is a period of less than 12 months of a change in the accounting period. For example, you have registered your company for June. You have earned your first money in June. Ang short accounting period nyo po is June the next year. Okay? Tapos after following that accounting period, babalik na po tayo ngayon sa January to December. Okay, ganun po lagi. Okay. Counting methods naman is, ito yung mga set of rules, syempre, for determining when and how to import income and deduction. Okay. We have the cash basis method, cash receipt, and cash disbursement method, accrual method, the percentage of completion method, installment method, deferred payment method, and other accounting methods. Bakit mahalaga yung accounting methods? Okay? This is your way of paying. This is your way of paying your tax. Okay? So, iba-iba po ang klase niya. Okay? Depende na lang po sa kung ano ang pinipili nilang klase ng accounting period. Okay? Pero usually naman na ngayon ang mga company, hindi na sila nagka-cash basis. Accrual na yan or percentage lang. Let's not discuss this anymore because na-discuss na to sa inyo sa accounting. Itong, doon tayo sa mahalaga lang. Okay? Okay, the gross income. Ito na tayo, papunta na tayo sa exciting part, sabi nga nila. Okay? Which is the income na mismo. Now, first, let's talk about the gross income. Bakit ba gross income ang pinaka-common na ginagamit natin for taxing? No? Kasi sa gross income, dito na agad natin malalaman lahat ng mga dito kasi sa dito sa gross income, nalalaman natin kung saan nanggagaling lahat ng mga sources natin. Okay? So kaya mas sinusunod natin itong gross income kasi mas madaling makita kung saan nanggagaling yung mga sources. Sa net income po kasi meron na po mga deduction. Okay? So that's why BIR encourage companies and individual to pay on a gross income basis. Okay? Pero dahil nga masyadong mabigat minsan ang taxation, we subject also to net income for the deductions. Okay? Pero gross income muna tayo. Ang pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? Ano ba yung mga pasok or consider natin na excess ng gross income? First, we have the compensation for service in whatever form. Ito yung ating mga wages, salaries, commissions, and similar items. Okay? So kapag pinag-uusapan natin ang compensation, it is whatever form of payment. Okay? That is one source of gross income. Next, we have the gains derived from dealings in property. Ano yung mga dealings in property? Nagbenta ka ng property mo. Considered po yun na source of your gross income. No? The second one, na-skip ko pala to, exercise of a profession or the conduct of trade or business. Another source of income yan, or gross income. Next, interest. Ano itong interest na to? Equity. No, you're familiar with equity naman, di ba? Lahat naman, siguro alam na natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng equity. Baka may magdun po dyan na hindi alam ang equity. Nako, dahil talaga sa mga accounting prof. Sumbong kay Ma'am Q. Kung hindi alam ang ibig sabihin ng equity, mapapagalitan. Ang equity po, these are what? Interest or the shares that we, what or percentage that we get from investments. That is interest. Yun lang ba ang nakukuha natin ng interest? Hindi pa, pautang. Pwede tayong kumuha ng interest sa pautang. Bonds. Pwede tayong kumuha ng interest sa bonds. Anything that you gain income or gross income from interest, nagiging source po yan ng gross income. Okay? Next, we have the rents. Nagpaparenta ka ng building, nagpaparenta ka ng bahay, nagpaparenta ka ng sasakyan. Anything kung ano man yung pinaparenta mo. Okay? Nagpaparenta ka ng damit. Huwag naman yung pandili ng damit, guys, ha? Normal na nga, pinaparenta natin na damit, yung mga gown, ganyan. Pero, huwag naman yung mga t-shirt na ginagamit natin araw, pinaparentahan pa natin, diba? Masyadong unhygienic yun. Anything that is from are considered as what? Sources of gross income. Royalties. Ano ba itong mga royalties na to? Okay, you are an art, sabihin natin, an art person. You do music, you do art, you do photography. Pagka musician ka po at na-sign ka ng isang label or isang company, everything that you earn from that company through your music or through anything else is considered as what? Considered as royalties. So anything na earn natin from royalties is also what? A source of gross income. Next, we have the dividends. Dividends are what? Money or income that we earn from our investments in corporations. Those are dividends. Okay? Annuities, proceeds from life insurance. Lalo na ngayon, na bagong-bago na ang mga ino-offer ng mga life insurance ngayon, may kasama ng investment. Okay? Pati po yun yung mga kinikita natin doon, part yun ng gross income. Prizes and winnings. No? Illegal gambling lang po ito, ha? Under the PCSO. Sino mga nag-i-scatter dito? Umami na kayo. Hindi namin kayo i-judge kung nag-i-scatter kayo. Okay? Anything that you win from those kind of gambling or lotteries, no, is a source also of income. Okay? Pensions, source of income din yan. Pero ang pension po kasi, nagdidepende yan kung kailan magiging taxable. Okay? Partners distributive share from the net income of the general professional partnership. Yung mga kinikita natin sa partnership natin, na kunwari may partnership kayo, you're a part of the partnership, sources of income din po yan. Okay. 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 Let us define gross income versus net income. Gross income is all wealth which flows into the taxpayer other than as a mere return of capital. Lahat ng mga pwede maging sources ng iyong funding, doon po yan. Okay? Okay. Tapos ang net income naman, pertain to items of gross income less either the statutory item as deduction. Okay? Itemized deduction ng ito, guys, ha? Okay? Kung ano lang yung pwedeng makapasok na what? Pwedeng makapasok na deduction within the scope of the law of NIRC or the code of NIRC. Okay, taxable income naman, these are net income which is taxable. Okay, ito na yung pwedeng taxan sa inyo. Okay, sources of income that is subject to tax. Huh? The sources of income which are required are those income enumerated under 32A. Discuss natin yung mga naka-enumerate. No? X, yung mga subject sa final withholding tax. Okay? The same is not being returnable daw or not included in the determination of how much is the gross reported in the annual income tax. Okay? Compensation income naman, kapag pag-uusapan naman natin yung compensation income, ito yung mga general compensation income natin. Means what? Sa service na ginawa natin. Okay? Kung ano man yung mga trabaho natin, kung ano man yung ginawa natin for someone, for the exchange of money, for your service, or for anything else, that is considered as a compensation income. Okay? Next, ito naman yung mga nasa under ng fringe benefit. Are you guys familiar with fringe benefit? Fringe benefits are what? These are non-cash compensation given by the employer to the employee. Okay? So dito po sa fringe benefit, we have the thing that we call
bayad po kasi
the
saan?
ceiling
Kasi,
point of
yun?
90.
Kasiglahan. Fix na yan.
Tayo na.
Meron naman isa. Bayad po, Rob.
Ano bang whiteboard?
Yung Rob, nasanay na ako. Eh, sinabihan ako kasig. Kasig.
Just checking if I'm allowed.
Bayad po kasig. Ano kasi?
Wala yatang whiteboard.
Apo.
Ayan.
Yung Robinson, sanay na ako. Yun ang lagi nilang
Okay.
ano.
Dito tayo. Okay.
Rob, bayad po, Rob.
We have this thing that we call, we have the thing that we call the ceiling point of 90,000 pesos. Okay? That is the subject of our fringe benefit, guys. Okay? The 90,000 pesos. Okay? So, dyan sa 90,000 pesos na yan, if your fringe benefit is much more sa 90,000, okay, it is subjected to a 35% tax automatically on that fringe benefit. Always remember, why do we need also to understand, okay, or why do we need to understand this thing that we call the fringe benefit or the 90,000 ceiling point, okay? Kasi doon po sa 90,000 na ceiling point na yon, okay, yun lang po yung limit natin sa ating non-cash compensations or dun sa fringe benefit natin. If you exceed the 90,000 pesos, it will be what? Subjected to the 35% na tax within that fringe benefit. Kasi po, yung sa fringe benefit po natin na pinag-uusapan, okay, this is also part of your compensation. Parte pa rin po ito ng ating kita, okay? Kaya lagi nating iisipin, okay, yung kinikita natin doon sa non-cash compensation na yun, na parte ng ating compensation, it should be subjected to taxation na 35% kapag lumagpas ka doon sa 90,000 na ceiling point. Okay? So ano ba itong mga klase ng fringe benefit na to? We have the housing, the expense account, vehicle of any kind, household personnel such as maid, driver, or others, interest on loan, membership fees, expense for foreign travel, holiday and vacation expenses, educational assistance to the employer or his dependents. So yung pinag-uusapan natin dito, ito yung mga binibigay sa inyo na benefit ng inyong employer para mas maging convenient ang inyong pagtatrabaho. Okay? 90,000 ceiling point. Huwag na huwag niyong aalisin sa isip niyo yung 90,000 na yan. Kasi pag namagpas na yan, automatically subjected to 35% of the fringe benefit tax. Okay? A tax on the fringe benefit at the rate of now 35% shall be imposed on the gross up monetary value. Gross up monetary value yung pinag-usap natin guys ha, yung totality of the benefit. Okay? So kung ano man yung naging ano natin, yun yung susundin natin. Yung monetary value na yun or yung gross monetary value na yun. Yung 35% subject na siya na ganun kapag lumagpas siya doon sa ceiling point 90,000. Okay? When can fringe benefit be not subject to FBT? Okay? Okay. When the fringe benefit is for the convenience or advantage of the employer. Paano ba naging convenience? For example, nakatira sa malayo yung inyong employee. No? Sabihin natin taga-Tawi-Tawi siya, yung kumpanya nyo nasa Makati. Siyempre kapag pinahousing mo yung taga-Tawi-Tawi mo na worker, it is considered as a what? Convenient for him or for her na doon tumira malapit sa opisina. So that will not be part of the fringe benefit. Okay? As long as that benefit is a convenient for that person, it should not be part of the fringe benefit for fringe benefit tax. Okay? Yun lagi natin isipin. Isa pang example that a certain benefit will not be part of the FBT is when it is a what? De minimis benefit. Okay, what is de minimis? Ibig sabihin, these are low compensation benefits. Load allowance, clothing allowance, hindi na po yan sinasali sa fringe benefit kasi masyado na pong maliit yung value niyan para masali. Okay? So those are the two requirements for a benefit to be not part of the fringe benefit tax. Okay? Okay. Ano naman yung mga business income? Pag pinag-usapan natin yung business income, these are what? Derived from doing business. Okay, it is equivalent to the gross sales less than sales returns, discounts and allowances, and cost of goods sold. Okay? So, basta galing sa negosyo, ang tawag dyan business income. Okay? For trading or merchandising concern, gross income means gross sales less cost of sales or cost of goods sold. Ito, na-discuss na rin sa inyo to sa accounting. How does this, how can you get this? So, hindi ko na rin ito i-explain, no? Kasi ang pinaka-gist naman natin dito sa topic na ng gross income is the income, sources of gross income. Okay? Okay. At ito pa yung mga gains derived from dealings and property. Sales or exchange or properties may be subject to capital gains tax or ordinary income tax. Yung mga CGT po, yung mga capital gain tax is ito yung mga ginigain natin beside from the capital assets. Okay? It is not more than the capital, it is more than the gains that we get from our capitals. Okay? Always remember guys, income
Capitalize.
is different from capital. Okay? Lagi natin tatandaan, magkaiba. Capital po ay ang puno, ang income po ang bunga. Okay? Income is the fruit of your labor for your capital. Okay? So, let's distinguish the ordinary asset. Okay? The ordinary asset shall consist of properties especially excluded from the definition of capital assets. Okay? Yung ordinary assets, these are assets that you bought outside of your capital. Okay? Hindi siya yung nagpaumpisa ng inyong negosyo. Siya yung dinagdag mo. Okay? This is additional assets for your business, but not part of your capital assets. Okay? Ordinary assets. In trade, taxpayer, other property of a kind, which properly be included in the inventory of the taxpayer, is on and or in the close of the taxable year. Okay? Ano pa bang mahalaga dito sa gross income? Itong allowance for depreciation, mamaya natin discussin sa mga deductions. Okay. So, basta lagi lang natin, and guys, ang ordinary asset or other capital assets, basta hindi subject sa final capital gains. Considered siya as other capital assets. Okay? Bakit ba mahalaga na identify natin kung ano yung capital assets or other capital assets? Kasi itong mga assets na to is pagkukuhaan natin to sa ating income tax. No? Gain natin to eh. Aside from our capital. It is a gain. So we need to understand that other capital assets is part of our sources of gross income. Okay? Okay. For income tax purposes, the general rule is that gain is derived or loss sustained only where there is a disposition of property for money or sale or for other property exchange. The gain or loss is ordinary when the property sold or exchanged is not a capital asset. Okay. Kapag hindi capital asset or hindi parte ng capital mo, doon lang magka-count yung gain or loss. Okay? Hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng gain or loss sa capital mo. Kasi bakit? Nilabas mo na ng pera yun to start. Hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng loss doon sa capital mo. Pwede ka lang magkaroon ng loss, saan? Doon na sa outside of your capital asset. Okay? So doon mo na malalaman if you have the income, kung meron kang gross income or meron kang net income, doon sa outside sa iyong capital asset. Okay? Okay, let's talk about the three special rules pertaining to gains or loss. One is the holding period rule. Gaano ba katagal na na-hold mo yung pera na yun outside of your capital gain or capital asset? Okay? So kapag matagal, it is already considered as gain. No? Gain na siya, kinita mo na siya. Next, we have the capital loss limitation rule. We also have a limitation for the loss on your capital for you to be considered as what? Still gaining or profiting. Okay? And next is the capital loss carryover rule. Okay? Yung nawala ba doon sa capital mo, is na carryover ba doon sa profit, doon sa pagtakbo ng negosyo mo? Kasi kapag ang kinita mo or your income for the loss of your capital at pinuno mo siya doon sa capital loss mo, hindi siya papasok sa gross income. Okay? This is very important to understand. You need to understand kung kailan papasok yung inyong asset or yung inyong capital asset or other capital asset into gross income. Kailan ba siya mako-consider na gross income? Okay? Kasi kung capital loss carryover rule, kung yung kinita mo is binalik mo papunta sa capital mo, hindi siya profit. Hindi siya papasok ngayon sa gross income, hindi siya taxable. Okay? Pero yung capital loss limitation mo, meron ka lang pong limit na pwedeng ma-consider na nagkakaroon ka ng loss doon sa capital mo. Kasi kapag sobra na yung loss mo, you are not already gaining income. And alam ba yung kailangan? Bakit kailangan natin maintindihan to? You cannot be subjected to income tax if you are not earning income. Remember that, guys. Okay? Kung hindi ka kumikita ng income, nagbe-break even ka or you're suffering loss, you do not need to pay income tax. Why? At the first place, there is no realization of income. Hindi nag-exist ang income at all. So, bakit ka magbabayad ng income? Diba? Okay. Next. It's already done. We can just discuss this on the next. Okay? Sa illustration, this is much more on the accounting side, so hindi na rin natin i-discuss. Okay? Okay, ito. Tignan natin ito maigi. Okay? So, dito sa may right side, this is your income tax or net income tax. Itong nandito sa inyong dito sa inyong right side. Ay, sorry. So, may kita nyo dito. On your right side, on this right side, this is your net income. On the left side, this is your gross income. Okay? So, pag makikita mo dito, your capital gains, your asset is 5,000. Nagka-loss ka dito ng 10,000. So, net capital loss carryover for 2023 is 5,000. Pwede mong dalhin yung loss na yun na 5,000 papunta sa next year. Para ano mangyari, madididak ulit siya doon sa magiging income mo. So, hindi magiging taxable. Ayan o, wala siya dito. Hindi siya magiging taxable for your wala dito, blanco. Hindi siya magiging taxable for the carryover sa next year. Okay? So, dahil ang loss mo dito sa taon na to is 10,000 pesos, okay, na which is your capital is just 5,000, so meron kang negative 5,000 dito na pwede mong i-carry over into the 2023 at pwede mo ulit itong ibawas doon sa profit mo, pambalik mo doon sa capital mo. So, ibig sabihin yung 5,000 na kikitain mo for next year can be subjected and be part of your capital loss at magiging break-even ulit yung capital mo, considered na wala kang net income or wala kang in-income, so hindi ka taxable. Okay? Ganun po yung example nun.
Dapat ka ng inasawa mo.
Naiintindihan ba na lahat? And meron bang question? Meron bang gustong clarification? You may raise your hand kung medyo nalito doon sa capital loss, capital asset, and other capital asset. Wala naman. So far naman naiintindihan. Okay. Yes. So, lagi natin tatandaan yun ha, yung carry over or yung capital loss carry over. Hanggang ngayon, ginagamit pa rin po natin yan. Okay, huwag tayo malito dyan sa carry over.
Malamig na yan.
Okay.
Malamig na yan.
Okay, let's move on to the tax-free exchange. Ano ba itong tax-free exchange na to? Okay. Ano ba yung pinag-uusap na tax-free exchange? Okay. So, sa tax-free exchange, okay, there are requisite for non-recognition of gain or loss. Okay? Ano ba yung mga pwede nating malaman kung hindi taxable tong bagay na to? Okay? The transferor is an individual acting alone or together with others, not exceeding 4 persons. So, ibig sabihin, sa domestic corporation, for shares of stock of a domestic corporation, kasi nakalagay dito, non-recognition of gain or loss in an exchange property by an individual for shares of stock of a domestic corporation. Okay. The transferor daw is an individual and not exceeding 4 person. Okay, as a result of that exchange, the transferor alone or together with others, yung apat na yon, gain control of the transferring corporation. So, sabihin natin 51%, di ba? Kasi doon nagkakaroon ng control sa 51%. Sa capital stock natin papunta doon sa bagong owner. Okay? The transferee is a corporation. Yun yung lagi yung tatandaan. Ang inyong transferee corporation, and the transferee exchange its shares of stocks for properties of the transfer. So lahat po ito is non-recognition of gain or loss. Walang gain or loss kasi transfer lang ang nangyari.
Oo, hawakan mo na.
Okay? Pero lagi natin tatandaan, we should acquire, the investor should acquire the control over that corporation. Okay? So kapag dating dito, non-recognizable siya na gain or loss for the exchange of property para mataksan siya. So ibig sabihin, this transfer cannot be taxed. Okay? Hindi siya considered as gain. Hindi siya considered as income tax. Why? Transfer lang yun nangyari. Transfer lang. So with this transfer, there is no gain for that corporation. There is no income for that corporation. So therefore, anong mangyayari? It is not part of income tax. Okay? That is tax-free exchange. Ano pa ba ang magandang example ng tax-free exchange dito? Okay. Siguro maganda magbigay tayo ng example sa tax-free exchange. Balik tayo sa ating whiteboard. Okay. Okay. Nakikita naman na lahat, guys. Okay? So, sabihin natin si Corporation A. Corporation A. Tapos, Corporation B. Okay. So we are talking kanina about the control. Okay? Which is the basic rule sa business combination. Okay? Sa mga students ko sa business combination, we have already discussed this. Okay? Control, you cannot have a control unless you have what? Over the share of the other party. Okay? So the control should be 51%. So normally, okay, kung si Corporation B, kunwari kung ito si Corporation B, pinili ang 51% by ni Corporation A, okay, there is a gain from this. May income dito si Corporation A. Sabihin natin ang value ng kanyang 51% is 25 million. Okay, 25 million. Okay. This is your income. Yung 25 million na to, take note, yung 25 million. So there is an income. So this is taxable. Okay, taxable ito. Kasi nga merong sale na nangyari. Merong sale na nangyari. Okay, paano naman kung hindi nagkaroon ng sale? Okay, hindi nagbenta. Walang bentahan na nangyari. Ang nangyari, nagkaroon ng transfer. Okay. Transferred. That 51%. Transferred. Okay. That the 51% to Corporation B. Meron bang income? Wala. Kasi transfer na nangyari. So this is a tax-free exchange ang nangyari dito. Okay? Walang compensation income na nangyari. Understood? Walang nangyaring gain, walang nangyaring profit, walang kumita ng pera. Okay? Ang nangyari lang is transfer. So this is what? Exchange. Tax-free exchange. Okay? Okay, understood ba? Or merong question regarding the transfer? Meron ba? Wala naman. Okay. So, balik tayo sa ating lesson or sa ating lecture. Okay. Ito pa ang isa natin pag-uusapan ng tax-free exchange, the passive income investment. Okay? So, income that allows you to earn money with merely requires little or minimal effort to maintain. Wala anong ginawa, nagkaroon ng income. So, paano ba nagkakaroon ng tax-free exchange? Okay. Para ma-identify natin lahat to, itignan muna natin itong mga klase ng income. Okay, we have the interest income. Interest income is an income which tax due is fully collected through the withholding tax system. Next, we have the rental and royalty income. income. Okay, yung kinikita nga natin sa ating mga intellectual property, music, art, photography,
Pag mga Korean
video,
notes, ako yun.
cinematography. Okay. This is what? Subjected to 20% of final withholding tax. Except
Diba?
royalty
Yung mga
from
natututunan
books.
ko
Ano yung
sa-
mga royalty from
kakanood
books?
ng Korean.
Ano ibig sabihin nun?